Hello my dreamers, it's Sky here and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. Today we are going to be finishing our April color along. If you haven't been following along so far, there are parts 1, 2, and 3 available for you. We have been working in Hannah Lynn's Fierce and Fancy Faces pocket-size book. However, you could follow this along in the full-size book if that's what you had as well. The page that we have been working on is Happy Hatchling. We don't really have a whole lot left. Mostly just background, which I think I have a general idea on now. Hopefully it turns out good. I'm not exactly sure, but it's pretty much like the only thing that I could come up with, so we'll see. So we're going to do that. We're going to add a little bit of gold detailing, some white and black details, and maybe some glitter, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to keep this metallic, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's really not much to say. We're just going to go ahead and dive on in. All right, so I do have a piece of paper behind this one. I have it clipped down just because it makes my life a little bit easier. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back the cloud colors. I was kind of trying to debate what to do for the background, and I just wasn't sure. I don't really want to introduce new colors, but I also don't want to do anything super crazy that's going to take away from. So there are two kind of ideas that I had. One was doing the background pink kind of to match the clouds and do some like maybe darker colored trees in there. I thought would be kind of cool, but since she's sitting on the clouds, I don't really know where she is per se. I don't know if that's really important. Do we need like a backstory to where she is that actually makes sense? So trees would be kind of cool and simple to do, because I wouldn't bother with like the tops of the trees where you see all like the branches going out this way and that, but just like the trunks of the trees. So it'd be kept fairly simple. Another thing I was thinking of is having pink kind of going to gray, so that way we have these two that are kind of separated here. It'd kind of create a little bit more balance on the page. And then just doing maybe like little flowers or something. I have a bunch of stencils that I could use, but I'd rather freehand it since this is a color along, because I know not everybody has stencils. Yeah, maybe we could just pick some kind of pattern. We could even just add more fluffy cloud shapes, but I feel like those are a little bit difficult. But I do think I am pretty certain on starting from like the pinks and like going up to the grays. That part I'm pretty sure on. So we'll start there and we'll see what happens. All right, now that we have every single cat in here, I think we're ready to go. Cannot keep these guys away. I don't know if I'm going to bring in all of the pink colors, like we might skip the Deco Peach, but we'll see. I'm going to start with the hot pink and just create a little bit of a base. So I'm going to bring that up to about maybe here. I'm thinking about here we can kind of fade off into the grays. Maybe bring it up. See, it's about here, so let's bring this up just slightly higher on this side. Just a little bit. Okay, once we have a nice base on that, we'll go in with the Process Red. And same thing, we're just going to base this color a little bit. So this one I'm going to add just kind of in this triangle corner here, but I'm going to fade it out right from here. So that way it kind of shows, but I don't want to bring it that far up, because at that point we're already trying to blend away from it. So okay, about here I'm fading this out. Just in case that's bothering anybody else too, it's not on the page. There you go. You guys can be in here, but don't be chaos makers. I think that's impossible. It's impossible for them not to be chaos makers. Okay, so in with the dioxazine purple hue. I don't know how much of this I want, actually. Thinking about bringing it up to about here, fade it out into the process red, maybe. So this is fading about there. This one we're just going to fade out a little bit lower, so we'll kind of keep it faded out around here. So I'm just going to darken up that color a little bit around here. All right, I'm going back in with the process red. We are going to go over top of this, and I'm basically just going to build this color up. I think I want this to be super bright, maybe. Maybe we don't. Do we want it bright? Maybe let's add this pigment in here, but maybe we should go over with the white to blend everything all together and have it a bit more muted. But then the gold won't, if we put gold on there, it won't stand out as much. Let's just, we're going to build up this color and we're going to burnish with the process red. I do think it looks very pretty. Another color I was kind of thinking about doing the background is blue, which I mean might have been good too, because realistically the only place we actually have a solid amount of blue is on the dragon, but we do have like blue greens and like the purples are a little bit more on the blue side. So I feel like it doesn't really look out of place. I don't know so much if it needed to be balanced. We could add a little bit of blue to her eyes, which I've kind of been playing around with as well, because I think it might elevate them a little bit. We might do that. I've been kind of going back and forth on it. So just bringing this up, fading it out. These areas down here are pretty well burnished. We're going to darken up the hot pink areas too and fade them out. We're going to try and make sure that fade is really, really soft. So I'm going to go over this area where it's mostly just processed red and help kind of mix and burnish that. And then same as we did with the processed red, I'm going to build up that color by adding a bunch of layers. I'm going to bring it up a little bit and fade it out. Same thing, making sure that fade is super soft. Meaning it looks like it goes from pink gradually into white. There's no extremely visible area where it gets cut off, if that makes sense. Hopefully, because I feel like it's a little bit tricky to put into words. I don't exactly know still if we need the Deco Peach, and I don't know if I want to use the darkest gray either. I also don't know which way I want to fade this up. I don't really want to go from like a lighter gray to a darker gray. I kind of want to go from darker to lighter and have, because realistically then we'd have two dark areas. It would be a dark color and gradiating to light colors back into a darker color. I'd rather be from a dark color going into lighter colors. So with that being said, with the 30% cool gray, that's the one that we're going to mix in with the pink here. And we're gonna work slow at this and see how it goes, because I don't know if I've ever mixed these colors before, but just going in lightly, adding that color in there. I think we might want to bring the pink up a little bit more. It's kind of an experiment, kind of trial and error. And I kind of want the darker gray to fade off around here. Just have a little bit of the lighter gray at top. So I am being very light when adding this. I wonder if maybe we should bring in the Deco Peach. I feel like that actually might fade into them a little bit better, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go in with the Deco Peach right where we went off with the hot pink. And I'm going to bring this up into the gray a little bit. And fade it out about here. And there, it just kind of softens up that gradation. It's still not perfect. Unfortunately, they're very hard colors to kind of blend together, but I think it does look better. It looks better on this side actually than this side, which is strange. Just going to add a bit more pigment here. I am going to go over everything, like the grays with the 10% cool gray, and burnish with that. So I don't want to actually push in too hard with the 30%. But I do want to get a decent amount of pigment in there. That way when we go over it with the 10%, it won't lighten it up too much. edge, I think we're ready to do now, and I think I'm going to give this a quick sharpen here. That's the wrong one. So the nice thing about the 10% cool gray is we don't really have to worry about fully burnishing the area because it's such a light color. We're not really going to see a lot of the white paper poke through if it's not super burnished. So we're just going to add it in there. We're mostly going to focus on blending the gray, the darker gray in with this one and in with the pinks. It is very, very easy to pick up colors off of the hair, so just be mindful of that because we did go over these lines. So I have noticed I've picked up a little bit of the dioxazine purple hue, and I've kind of brought it into the gray a little bit. Not really intentionally, but I also don't feel like it's super noticeable either. It doesn't look bad, so I'm just not going to worry about it. I am just going to be careful and mindful about that when working near the hair bits. There, I think that helped a little bit, actually. This side looks not so bad now. Okay, so we didn't use the 70% cool gray, which is totally fine. I don't think we really needed it. We could initially, if we do decide to do the trees, we could bring the 70% cool gray and do trees with that. So I'm not going to put it away yet. We'll kind of see. I'm thinking just like cute little dots though. I don't really want to do anything crazy for the background. I do still want to add like a piercing on her or something though, and I don't know what to add. Did I bring my phone in here? Give me 1 minute. I'm just going to look up. I forgot to look up piercings. Let me just grab my phone and we'll see what we can find. Okay, so I do still think an eyebrow one would be cool. We'd probably have to do it on this side though, but it might look a little funny. I don't know. It wouldn't go like that though, actually. It would go like that, I guess. I'd like prefer it actually over here, but so that one might be a little bit tricky. So yeah, and then they've got these like surface ones where you could have one like that. That one might actually be cute, even if it's just like, it doesn't even have to technically be a piercing, just like a couple dots. Do one right there. I do kind of like the idea of having one on her lip though. Don't so much know about that one. A nose one would be a little bit tricky because she doesn't really have a nose. That's the ones that kind of go like that. That might be too much. I think those ones. Let's try and get an eyebrow one in there. We'll do the, there's a name for this. So let's see, the eyebrow is technically called an arcade or an eyebrow. These ones are called surface piercings. And then this one's called an Ashley. I do like that. So let's do that on her. I think it'll look pretty cool. Kind of badass, a little bit different. I'm not sure if I've ever added piercings to Whimsy Girls. I think I have maybe once or twice, but definitely not very often. Yeah, and we'll start with the gold, and then we might go over them with a black fine liner to add a little bit of dimension to them so they don't just look like gold specks. But for the most part, almost everything here is going to be gold. But we are going to add some black and white, so I'm just going to grab my Posca pens here. And I'm also going to grab my starry colors. So I think we'll do some of the black first, because we definitely want her eyes. Were we going to add blue to her eyes? Maybe we should. Let's do that first, actually. Okay, I'm going to give both of these a super sharp point. So we're going to use the electric blue and the true blue. Just going to throw it in there. Starting off with the electric blue, I'm just going to come in from like the center of her eye. I'm going over this with Posca, so I don't really care if I get any actually on the eye, the pupil. I'm going to use that as kind of a starting point. And I'm just going to bring a bunch of flicks down around her whole eye here. Okay, pretty simple. The true blue, it's a little bit darker, so we're just going to be a little bit more careful. And I'm only going to bring this out just a little bit past the pupil. So about halfway maybe at most. I'm going to keep it pretty short. I'm going to outline her eye with this too. Just go in slightly, kind of fading out from there. Yeah, I feel like that added quite a bit of dimension. So now let's go in. And we're going to bring her eyes out. Her eyelashes back out a little bit here. I think that's good. I think I'm just gonna widen her pupils just slightly. So I'm almost just gonna create an outline around them, just to make them bigger, but still, what's the word? Still equal, even, something like that. One of those works. Okay, for our little dragon guy here, I'm going to add some little bit of black speckling as well in here. We're going to put the gold kind of over top of it. Okay, that looks good. I don't know if there's anywhere else I really want to add the black. So just carefully, I'm going to pop that on there, and I'm going to get my Skyee watercolors ready here. But first I want to see, so I'm going to grab my swatch book here and see what kind of gold we want. I'm thinking the blue gold. But I mean, the yellow gold is really pretty too. Let's see, I'm going to pull this out so we can all see. Yeah, I think the blue gold might be what I go for. I do really like the champagne gold as well, but having a little bit more of that yellow tone might be, it'll be a little bit more noticeable, I think. I don't want anything super yellow. I mean, we might do the dragon with a different one. Maybe we'll do the dragon with like the... No, I think we'd still do the dragon with the blue gold. Yeah, I think keeping it all the same will be better. So I'm going to use 901 blue gold. Any kind of gold metallic accent would work, like gel pens. If you have other kind of watercolors, they don't have to specifically be the Skyee ones. That's totally fine. I'm actually thinking about getting some of the other ones. I think they're called Aztec. I'm not sure. Let me see here. Yeah, the Coloro ones. They're like little circles, and they have like the little bit of texture in them. I've heard that they're a lot better. They are a little bit more expensive though, but it might be worth to have. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna grab 901. I'm gonna grab a thin paintbrush and some water. While I'm grabbing that, I'm just gonna take a spray bottle, and you can just use like a dropper or just use your paintbrush to drop a couple drops in to kind of prime your watercolor. I'm just gonna swirl this around with the water a little bit just to activate it. I can probably put it in the camera here. Should be good. Okay, so doing eyebrow first. Just going to draw a dot here. Sorry, phone went off. I'm just going to do a dot here, and I'm going to just bring it up like that. I do a dot here and here. Same on this side. probably have this coming in front of her hair. Let's do the other dot here. Might as well. It looks good. Okay, and then we're just going to do the Ashley. My mom must really be needing to get a hold of us. I'm going to pause and I'll come back to you. Okay. So continuing on here, kind of wanted to add just a little bit of metallic bits to her ponytail holders here. So I'm just kind of like little tiny dots on here. They're very subtle, not super noticeable, but it looks cute. Kind of wanted to add a little bit to her eyes. So I'm just going to very carefully add like a couple lines in there. Oops, that was a bit thicker than I wanted. So I'm just going to clean my brush off here and I'm going to try and water this one down. We can probably scratch it off after, hopefully, because actually, Q-tip might be our best friend here. If I can reach it. We are still in frame, right? Okay, good, good, good. Lots going on. I'm going to use a Q-tip to kind of smudge that out. I'm going to use my 10% light gray, or cool gray, to kind of go over that there. Just so it's not super noticeable. I don't know how well it's working, but it's not too bad. Okay, let's try and put just a softer line there. So if you mess up, that's what you can do. Just make sure we don't have a lot of the watercolor on the brush. That's better. Okay, I think that looks cute. We're going to add some to our dragon scales. And then I'm going to add some bigger splotches kind of all over him here. Not really all over, but kind of where we put the black. We're going to add some gold too. I'm not too worried about going over and covering up the black. I'm going to do some bigger dots, kind of like patches more likely, and some smaller ones in there as well. Like make it look like she has earrings kind of dangling down. No, because we wouldn't really be able to do that on this side. It'd look funny. Oh my god, this dragon is my favorite. I am obsessed with how this is turning out. I still have not settled on what culture, like ethnicity, she reminds me of. I don't think it's Japanese anymore though. It just doesn't sound right. I don't know which one it is. Either way though, she is stunning. Just gonna add some little lines on the underbelly of the dragon too. And a little bit on the horns as well. I know we were originally going to do like these as gold too. I wonder if we still should, these little like circle things. Wonder if that's too much. I feel like it is. I'll maybe go over those with the whites. Okay, let's throw some shapes in there. So I'm gonna add like a little dot here. And then I think I'm maybe just gonna do, should we do like little suns, little flowers maybe? Let's connect them. Kind of like that maybe. I don't exactly know what they're supposed to be, but that's what I'm going with. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add like a couple little dots kind of around them just to break it up a little bit. Okay, I think that looks good. So then we're also going to outline the clouds. And I suppose this leaves us with a question. Is there ever such thing as too much metallic? I feel like the answer is no. If there's no such thing as too much glitter, there can't be such thing as too much metallics, right? I'll put a little bit of metallic on her shirt too. Just gonna add some dots. At this point, I kind of want it everywhere. I'm loving how it looks. I'm actually kind of debating putting some in her hair too, but I wonder if that would be too much. Give her a little bit of a bracelet here. We'll do one thick one. And a thinner one. Just because we have it everywhere, I'm going to do some dots in her hair. Kind of like if she put like little beads in her hair. Yeah. Absolutely. I gotta be really careful here. I should have done this side first. There we go. Okay, I think that's the stopping point because I don't want to overdo it. Okay, I'm gonna grab my white pen here. Maybe. This thing is dried out. I think that's another thing I might have to invest in is more Posca paints. There we go. I'm gonna go right under the bottom of her eye. Just like that. Add in a little bit of a twinkle in her eye here. I'm gonna add a little bit of a kind of highlight on her piercings as well. So I'm just kind of doing the top lefts of them. We are going to come in with the black as well to try and define them a little bit more. I think it would be gorgeous to go through and do white over her hair, but I'm not going to bother because it's also gorgeous just as is. But would look pretty. Okay, this guy's little horns here. We're going to add white to these. A couple of little sparkles in his eye. A little bit of white here too. Let's actually soften up the white on his horns a bit. I'm going to grab the 30% Cool Gray. I'm going to softly go over that white just to bring it down a little bit. I don't want it super vibrant, not like it is. There we go. So it's still there, but it's knocked back a little bit. It's not super bright because we're going mostly for gray. I do like the little bit of light on his belly. I feel like that is definitely necessary. Her eyes, I don't think turned out too bad. Actually, I really like those. I'm gonna grab a black fine liner. I don't want to use my Posca pen for this because I want it to be really, really fine. I'm basically gonna outline the bottom sides of those piercings that we added on her. There we go. And this guy's eye there too. Nostrils, and I think that's pretty much it. Do we want, yeah, these like little glowy bits. I don't really know what to do with them, but they are noticeable, so I feel like I'm forced to do something, even though I would actually rather they not be here. But let's just kind of cover these in white. I don't know what they'll be, but I don't really enjoy them just kind of left looking like holes in her skin. It looks kind of funny. Maybe it can just be magical cloud dust that's also by the dragon. I don't know. It looks funny though. I don't like it. Again, I'm gonna take the 10% gray this time. Might have been the 10% gray I used for his horns too, I don't know. No, I want the 30%. Let's just on her skin knock it back a little bit. Or let's actually, okay, I don't have the swatch for this. I'm not going to grab it because otherwise I have to lift my hand off the page. But I'm going to grab the bronze. We have used this before, so it's not going to look too out of place. There we go. Let's go over the white with this. And then it'll look more like little glowy bits. There, again, not super white. Perfect. Also, just going to add black and white to her bracelets as well here that we added. Okay, I think before I mess anything else up, we're going to call it good. So right at an hour, this actually took a little bit longer than I thought it would, which, surprise, surprise, but I am obsessed with this. All right, so here's what she's looking like. She kind of reminds me of a gypsy, actually. I think maybe that's what it is. Absolutely stunning, though. I am so thrilled with how she turned out. Definitely ended up putting a lot more love into her than I anticipated, which is one thing that I love about the pocket-sized books, because especially for color along wise, I don't feel as stressed when I'm doing them because I know I don't need as much time. So I can actually put that extra little bit of time into kind of bringing them up one more level. Yeah, I am so thrilled with this. I would like to know what your favorite part of this page is. I'd have to say for me, it would be the dragon. I love him. He's so cute. And then the little bits of gold in the background. I love pink and gold together. And I feel like this was a way to really make the background stand out. I do regret slightly putting the gold in her hair. However, it looked strange without it too. So I don't know. Because there was almost gold accents on literally everything else except for her skin. So yeah, I don't know how I would have combated that without it being different, but I do feel like it does kind of take away from the background just a little bit now, but I do still love it either way. It is super gorgeous. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this color along. If you did, if you could give it a thumbs up, that would be super helpful. It helps me and the channel out and helps it get recommended to other people who might enjoy it. If you colored along, I would love to see your finished pages. So you can use the hashtag DreamInColorAlong to share it anywhere. I search for the hashtag to see if anybody's colored it. You could tag me in it. You can send it to me through email or Instagram or Facebook. I'm pretty much everywhere, pretty easy to find. So would definitely, absolutely love to see your colored versions. And yeah, I don't really think there's anything else I need to say. So yeah, I think we're going to say goodbye here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, so really looking forward to seeing you guys in our next color along. And I think that's it. So as always, take care and hopefully I'll see you next time. All right, guys. Bye.